With a little bit more than 24 hours between games, the Boston Bruins are on the ice in Toronto bubble to play the second game of their round one matchup against the Carolina Hurricanes. And to do so, they need to keep that switch flipped from the team that played in the round robins to the team that played in game one. Granted, that game went to double overtime, but the Bruins still pulled out a very good victory, their first in the Toronto bubble, but they left with a lot of things to improve, including the power play. Power play needed to be a lot better. They also needed to play a little, in my opinion anyway, defense a little bit better. A couple of defensive breakdowns in game number one. And let's not forget, don't underestimate this Carolina Hurricanes team. They are a fast, they are a tenacious team, just like their coach, the $25,000 less Rob Brindamore, who got fined yesterday for criticizing the NHL officials, which you cannot do. Anyway, Coach Bruce Cassidy has decided that Tuukka Rask will get the start on back-to-back days, which is not necessarily Tuukka Rask's strong suit. Rob Brindamore, on the other hand, of the Carolina Hurricanes, has said Peter Mrazek, no. James Reimer, yes. So James Reimer Rebound Reimer is back in the playoffs to play against the Boston Bruins. But for a more critical issue for Boston, no David Pastrnak tonight. He did not play. So it was Anders Bjork on the top line, and the coolest man on ice, Carson Kuhlman, he gets to play the coil line, although Bruce Cassidy flipped those two and kind of juggled the lines around a little bit towards the game. But is the loss of Pastrnak, is that going to be an issue for Boston? Find out on the Bruins Recap Show. So we start things off in the first period, and it is Brady Sakari. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce that name. I'm sorry, I suck at names. You all know this by now. He gets called for a hooking penalty, and the Boston Bruins go on the power play, which has been over for pretty much the entire time that they've been in Toronto. But, no David Pastrnak. He gets replaced by David Krejci, and this kind of looks a little bit better. And Krejci is up on the wall, plays catch with Brad Marchand. He waits out Jordan Staal, who gave his stick over to the defender, who broke his stick earlier in the power play. David Krejci waits, he takes the slapper, and he beats James Reimer on the power play, no less. The first power play goal in Toronto since the return to play for the Boston Bruins. 1-0. Very solid period for Boston. Good defense. Not a whole lot of chances, or dangerous chances anyway, for the Carolina Hurricanes. A great penalty kill early in the period, and they score on the power play. What else can you ask for? We go to the second period, up 1-0. And in the second period is where it all starts to go downhill as Carolina really starts to play the game the way they want to play. They do get a little bit of a bit of nastiness. A hit on Charlie McAvoy causes a scrum, which causes a 4-on-4, and pretty much after that it was all Carolina. Also, a little bit later on in the second period, a very weak elbowing call on Chris Wagner, but, well, you can't argue with the referees unless you want a $25,000 fine. So Carolina goes on the power play, and they just start winning puck races after puck races. Svechnikov beats Brad Marchand to the puck. He goes over to Teuvo Teravainen, and he goes high blocker on Rask. 1-1 on the power play for Carolina. A minute and 28 seconds later into the period, Rask plays the puck up on the wall, and it goes right to James Van Riemsdyk, or Trevor Van Riemsdyk, the other Van Riemsdyk, my apologies, over to Necas, who finds Svechnikov, and again, beats Tuukka Rask, high blocker. It might be a problem. You might want to take a look into that. 2-1, Carolina takes the lead. But not to be outdone, the Boston Bruins go on the power play again, and it's Patrice Bergeron. He's attempting to find Brett Ritchie in the slot, but it ends up on the stick of Torrey Krug, who goes high to David Krejci, who goes back to Patrice Bergeron, takes the shot, it hits the pipe, and it bounces right to the stick of Brad Marchand. He pops it in the rebound on the power play with 4.4 seconds left in the period, and the Bruins score 2 on the power play, 2-2 tied. We go to the room. And this second period, very sloppy. Carolina looked to be the better team. Very sloppy period. A lot of just bad passes and not winning enough puck races. The Bruins looking like a team that played less or pretty much 24 hours prior. We go to the third period and things get a little weird as Teuvo Teravainen makes contact with Tuukka Rask. The puck ends up in the back of the net, and Wes McCauley immediately says no goal for goaltender interference. And for what reason, I don't know, because it's very, very clear if you look at the replay, even in slow motion, like Tuukka Rask has no opportunity to make a save at all on this puck because of the goaltender interference. But Rob Brind'Amour, in his decision, decides to challenge it anyway, and Wes McCauley takes a look at the little iPad thing that they have, confirms the call, emphatically confirms the call, no goal. Boston Bruins will go on the power play. However, on that power play, they do absolutely nothing. We go to a little bit later on in the third period, and it's a loose puck in the slot. Just everybody's bunched up and bouncing and mashing. It goes to Necas. Necas goes around the net, and the Bruins are all bunched up in the slot away from the puck. Necas finds a wide open Dougie Hamilton, and Dougie just winds up and walks into this one, and Tuukka Rask has no chance as it buzzes right past his ear. 3-2 Carolina. That is your final score. Boston had some opportunities towards the very, very end of the third period. Pretty much after they had a very impressive penalty kill where they got more chances than Carolina did offensively. But Boston falls 3-2. We have ourselves a series. As many people stated, do not sleep on this Carolina Hurricanes team. They are very talented, and they proved it tonight. If you let them dictate the pace of play, if you let them dictate what they do in your own zone, you're going to be in for a rough time. And for roughly 40 minutes, Carolina did just that. They took it to Boston. They proceeded to play their game, which is low to high, get shots from the point, get bodies in front, cause chaos in front of the net, and they just outchanced you, outraced you, beat you to the puck on multiple occasions. You got to be better than that. So rest up, and take tomorrow off. Just rest up. You look like you needed it. Because Saturday afternoon, noon indeed it is, Game 3 we go. Boston against Carolina, Game 3. We'll see you then Saturday afternoon at noon on the Bruins Recap Show.